Hi, I'm Morgan.
I'm Harrison.
This is Morgan, please.
Jasmine.
No.
Why do you keep doing this? If you can do it, why can't I do it?
Hi, I'm Morgan.
I'm Harrison.
This is Morgan, please. We are a budget travel vlog. We do budget travel videos all around the world. Recently, we got back from our first time doing long-term travel. We were abroad in Europe for 6 months.
So in doing that long-term travel, we had some regrets and we had some highlights. And there are just things that we wish we did differently, and there are things that we wish we did exactly the same because they were so awesome.
So this video is kind of a nice way to wrap up our last 6-month trip and a neat little bow before we go on our next possibly 6-month trip. I'm not actually sure how long it is yet because it's not all planned, but our next big long-term travel trip, which is happening in a week. Oh my god, it's so soon. We need to kind of wrap up our last trip before we start our new one. And if you would like to see that, please hit subscribe. You should totally do that. Please do that. I'm literally begging you. Just hit subscribe right now. It's like right under a video.
Don't
red button. Hit subscribe. Do it. Or he'll die. So yeah, let's just get right into it. What are things we regret about our last trip, and what are some of the highlights? Let's get right into it. Let's talk about regrets we have. So one of them for me, and I think the same for you, is I don't think we were social enough. We started out our trip actually doing a workaway, which is basically volunteering. We checked out workaway until we found house sitting, which is less work, so we switched over to house sitting. The first thing we did was the workaway. So we went into a mountain biking hostel in the Alps of Slovenia, and we stayed with really awesome, great people who I still consider friends. It was a social atmosphere, and it was great, and those are some of our best memories of our whole trip. Being with people, meeting people, and hanging out with them, making connections, and having fun in a slightly more social environment. And from then, we did make friends. We made a lot more friends abroad. People we met randomly, people we met through house sitting, things like that. And they were all great, but we were never in such a social situation again. I think it's really easy to go out, film, come back, eat, edit, and keep that routine. And that's what we did a lot of the time. We did go to bars and stuff, but even if we did, we still weren't really social. So I wish we had just like branched out a little bit, talked to more people, and said yes to more offers that we got.
I mean, especially with our goal of traveling in a way where we feel like we're living in the country. We're trying to experience the culture more than anything. So in order to do that, you gotta spend time with the people, and that's something you're right, we just didn't do it enough, and something we're gonna do more next time we go out.
Yeah, that's definitely a big goal, is to just be a little more social. It is also tough because this isn't a vacation. Like it is, and many people will see it that way, and in some ways it is. But even though we weren't working a regular job, we were working on our YouTube and our goal of, someday making this a thing that can maybe be sustainable. It's a lot of work to make and edit videos. It is, and it was a learning curve of how to do this while traveling and going out, seeing stuff, and having the balance of exploring and working, because it is a lot of work. You actually figured out how much time it takes approximately just to edit one video. How much was it?
It was about 35 to 40 hours, and that's not including shooting. So
we take into account filming. That's maybe 10 hours of filming.
Yeah.
Not always 10 hours, but 10 hours of getting to places, not filming 10 hours of footage, but, getting to the place, filming, walking around 10 hours at least.
No, yeah.
To film a day of something.
So between 40 and 50 hours per video is the amount of time it goes into each one.
Which,
it's fun, but it's work.
It is, exactly. And that exasperated us not being so social, because it's like, oh my gosh, we have so many videos to edit. And, we ended our trip before Christmas, and it is gonna be June soon, and we are just putting out our last videos from that trip. Because when we came back, I immediately went back to full-time work, so it was really hard to get those out and edited. Basically, we could feel them catching up on us, and it was just really stressful, and because of that, we kind of held back on being social. But I think, one, we gotta get good and get better, faster at editing, and I think we are getting there, slowly getting better and faster. So yeah, hopefully that's it. Which actually leads nicely into a second, I guess, regret, or something we hope to be doing better at, is just the way we film and edit, and how to make it easier and faster. All of our videos, for the most part, until kind of the end, they didn't have much of a plan or a story. A lot of them in the beginning, we didn't even talk at all. We were just like, oh, we're just gonna film things and make it pretty. And it turns out people are bored by that. And something I had to learn, and we found out, was that people like when we talk. There's more of our personality in there. Whereas before, I mean, I kind of like to watch just B-roll to nice music, but that isn't what's going to work for us or for vlogs.
It's just that we're not pretty enough, and so we got a better personality than we got looks.
Yeah,
you know, that's probably what it is.
That's what they're trying to say.
No, yeah. So screw you guys. Actually, what the hell?
One, our videos for the most part didn't have much of a plan, which made it harder to edit. There wasn't we had to make something up in post, kind of how this whole day went along, especially towards the end when we didn't have any like talking. We had to add a lot of voiceover and figure out how to make it not boring for people. That's something I want to fix next time, is to actually plan out our videos. Imagine that. Get more of a goal. Only film things if they're interesting. We have so much just footage of like stupid stuff that's not interesting at all. Because I wanted to save the moment, but it's like this too much moment saved. Like, it's too much. There are still some things that can't be helped. Harrison actually color corrects every single shot, goes in there and changes it around. At first, it was very green and yellow, but they've gotten better.
Yeah, I was very inexperienced in doing that, and stubborn in not wanting to spend any more time than I felt like I needed to.
Yeah.
But now I think I've figured out the formula a little bit better. They're looking crisp now, and I can't wait to start using this new camera.
Yes, we have a new camera, by the way. Tangent, so...
Yeah, but it'll be fun to work with that. Yeah.
What was the point of this?
I don't know.
The point was basically to get better at editing.
Yeah, we're getting better at editing.
So the whole point of this little kind of tangent is that we want to get better at editing, and we regret kind of being bad at it, I guess. And I'm getting faster at it. I'm still pretty slow. I do a lot of the groundwork editing, the basic, put it in order, cut down talking, make a story, and he does all the fancy stuff. So I myself am getting faster and realizing I can't just relax and do it, because actually, keeping in mind the things I regret, in the beginning of this, I didn't take it seriously, as seriously as I should have. I didn't realize how much work it was going to be. I really didn't. I didn't realize how much time it was going to take, how much I needed to really be in on it from the beginning, and I wasn't. Harrison was. He realized how much work it was going to be. I didn't. So I really kind of slacked off. The first, month or couple months, actually, I was like, it's fine. We're enjoying ourselves. We don't have to. We'll just go to the beach. But, you have to be fast and be good and don't waste... Yes.
It's a job. Honestly, you need to have it in the back of your head, am I doing my job? And when you're not having that in the back of your head, your job's just not getting done.
Right, and then you end up with us 6 months later still putting out videos.
Still putting out videos.
From our last trip. Okay, so those are our first 2 regrets. 1, not being social enough. 2, being too sloppy and slacky with editing. Is there another regret?
No regrets.
No regrets.
More baguettes. So something that I regret is I was so focused on trying to save money that I was willing to literally just eat pasta. I literally ate pasta for 2 months
every
straight.
Day. Every day
just pasta sauce. But to be fair, like I said, I'm a pasta enthusiast. I love pasta. I will never ever get sick of pasta. That being said, I think it would have been way cooler to go to these places, if I were to go to Croatia or Slovenia, to literally look up Croatian or Slovenian recipes and make them. So I'd be saving the money by going to the market still, but I'd be getting the real authentic experience of the food and the culture without spending the money. And honestly, I can alter it if I really wanted to my taste. What's better than that? And I guess that's something that I wish I spent just a little bit more money to get that much more of an experience from a land.
Although, if you want to combine 2 of our things together, if we were more social, maybe we would have more friends willing to cook for us.
That's so true. But I do have to say, if we're going to Italy, I know exactly what their food tastes like, because I've had 2 months straight of it.
That being said, we did try local cuisines a few places. We had lots of local beers. People we house sat for, actually, they took us out to eat and they let us try a bunch of German food, which was fantastic. But yeah, for the most part, we bought local ingredients and local groceries at the farmers markets and stuff, but we didn't really make anything local. So... another regret.
I think that's it for regrets for me. I don't really have any others. It was overall a fantastic trip.
Yeah, I don't really have any more.
And I would do it again. And
I have one.
Oh, you do? Oh, never mind. Bonus regret.
Bonus regret,
Bonus regret.
Yeah. One more. I actually do regret something else. It's over-planning. So we went on this trip. I planned everything down to the T. I had this whole like super long itinerary that I couldn't even open on my phone because it was so long. I didn't need to plan that much. When I say that, people usually get the impression that I'm like really on a strict schedule. It's not so much the schedule that I was strict with. It was just over planning. Like,
you had from like when we got to the airport a map to how to get to the bus,
right,
when it was literally just right outside the door.
Yeah,
you're
things like that.
You're like, it'll look like this, and you're going on Google Maps, screenshotting what it'll look like.
Pictures of the bus itself. And all this stuff. Too much planning, that was unnecessary. But I was, it was the first time abroad for a long time. I planned the whole freaking thing, and I'm responsible for 2 human beings.
That's right. I'm a baby. You need to take care of me.
I guess so. Well, that was the deal. When it comes down to it, it was sort of my personal dream and aspiration to travel, and I was very happy that Harrison will come with me and film it all and everything, but that's the deal. He'll film and help me do that and come with me, but I'm planning it all, and I'm totally happy to do that. Planned it all, knowing I am responsible for everything that happens. I want to make it a good trip. I don't want anything to go wrong. Now, because we have been abroad for so long and we kind of know how it goes, it seems so unnecessary, and I can kind of, you know what, like, things are different abroad, but they're not that different. You can ask somebody, hey, where's the bus? Or you can figure it out. Like, it's not as hard as you think. It's like, some things are just kind of the same anywhere, and sometimes it'll be harder, and sometimes it is worth looking into, but in general, like, if you need the bathroom, like, you'll figure out where it is. Like, most people speak English. If they don't, there's an app on your phone to translate anything if you download the language in enough time, or if you just like, mime a little bit, they'll figure out what you need. It's not that hard, and I didn't need to over-plan that much, so that's one more regret. So now the part that's really hard to narrow down because there's so much. Let's talk about the highlights of our trip.
So the first place that we definitely would do again is Slovenia, and specifically Luče in Slovenia. It's such a tiny town. It's so tiny, in fact, that they don't even have street names. They just have house numbers for the town. So it'd just be, if you're going to mail something, it's just Luče 1. That's all you put. This whole experience of just being in this super small town that's in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of mountains, in the middle of Alps.
Yeah, in the middle of mountains, and it's just like, oh, you want to drive to a big supermarket? It's going to take you like a good 35 minutes. Wow. Just wow. A whole experience that I don't think I've ever really had.
Just being in the middle of nature with nothing but the mountains, streams, incredible natural beauty, huge waterfalls all around you. And what added to the experience, as we mentioned earlier, in Slovenia we were doing workaway, so we were with a lot of people, we were with a lot of friends, and we hung out with them, and they took us, we had coffee with them, and they brought us around the town and showed us all these different places, and we really met a lot of really good friends there, and the whole experience was a real highlight of the trip, right from the get-go. So the next highlight of our trip, we've talked about this one a lot in our videos, but we got to stay in the penthouse suite of this amazing hotel in Bamberg, Germany. The whole experience was just insane. We can't even afford to stay in a hotel, and we got to stay in one for free for like 3 weeks. And not just any hotel, we got like a 2-story hotel room with like incredible views and free breakfast every day. Oh my god, that's so...
Dude, Morgan, you had so many packets of Nutella.
I had so many croissants with Nutella. It was so good. I gorged myself on those free breakfasts. But they also had free food throughout the day, like gummy candy and cakes and stuff, and it was a very fancy place. Actually, to show you how fancy it was, we stayed in the same room that the Dalai freaking Lama stayed in.
That's
like,
right.
for real. The Dalai Lama himself stayed in the room that we stayed in, which is just insane. The whole thing was very surreal. Is this our real life? Like, what?
Yeah, it was very, like, when you're just like, let's go back to our hotel room.
Yeah.
And it was like a 2-floor hotel room.
We just live in a hotel.
Like, this truly the sweet life of Zach and Cody.
It was.
For like 2.5 weeks.
And, the thought just occurred to me, maybe to some people that's not crazy. Like, yeah, obviously you stay in a hotel. But to us, this is like... Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's like we're Jack in the Titanic and we just became Rose, you know what I mean? So now we no longer have to die. We get to live on the board. Yeah,
we were smart enough to get on the door.
That's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going to get into it right now. The city of Bamberg was amazing as well. I'm not going to get too much into it. We have lots of videos about it. Actually, we have a video talking about our whole experience house sitting there. You should watch that video. It's going to pop up somewhere on the screen, and it's going to be linked below. But yeah, crazy experience there. Our next highlight is something that's very personal to me, kind of. We went to Sarajevo in Sarajevo. We went to Sarajevo in Bosnia-Herzegovina, and I really wanted to go there since high school when I heard about it in history, because I'm really into World War One, and that's where it started, and that's kind of where I wanted to go. I wanted to go see where Franz Ferdinand got assassinated in 1914, and by Gavrilo Princip, just flexing all my knowledge on World War One. But I really wanted to go there and see that, and I didn't even know anything about the Bosnian War that happened in the 90s. I'm not going to get too much into history. There was a war there in the 90s, a pretty crazy one, with the longest siege of a capital city in modern warfare history. We met a lot of nice friends there and people who were really awesome, and they lived through the war, through a siege, and it was so harrowing, eye-opening, interesting to hear their stories, hear their accounts, what they lived through. And
I mean, in this siege too, it's not like soldiers, it's literally civilians. So like for you to go on this war tour and to talk to this guide who guides only like
not much 30, older than us.
Yeah, he was only a few years older than us, and he was like, oh, when I was a child I had to walk down a certain road even though it took longer to get to school so I wasn't like sniped. And it's like, oh my gosh, like how are you functioning? Like, and it's just like this level of appreciation for the life that we have.
Yeah, definitely. And you can still see the buildings are still the remains of them being shot at, the mortar shell explosions on the ground. And I know it's weird to say that this was the highlight of our trip, this horrible, sad history, but it wasn't the sadness that was good about it. It's different than anywhere we went to. Everywhere else that we have gone on this trip is like, oh, it's literally because it's so beautiful is really the reason I pick a lot of these places. But Sarajevo was just for history. It is a pretty city, but I went there for history and I found other history I didn't know about and people who lived through that. It was a great harrowing experience, a serious one, which is why it was a highlight. It's definitely different than anywhere else we've been to.
So something that's definitely not something you can do every year that we got to experience was the energy of a European country when they are succeeding very well in FIFA. And we were in Croatia, and for those of you who don't know, Croatia got second place in the World Cup, and we were there every night seeing the crowds go crazy, people shooting flares and they're just running through the streets. And there's this one specific moment. We had a day where we were just walking around. I don't remember where it was. It was either Korčula, it was somewhere, but we were just walking the back streets, and there was a family who owned a business who pulled out this little TV, and they're all sitting there watching the game. Ended in a shootout, and Croatia won by 1 goal, and it was such an experience to see these people go nuts. Like it was such pride in their nation for their team to make it this far, and it was definitely something we probably will never experience again. It being Croatia, a country who no one thought was going to get that far. That is one of the biggest highlights of the trip, I think, is experiencing that. I was a soccer player when I was growing up, and so seeing that, it was awesome. Just awesome. Yeah,
I mean, I don't even watch sports or anything, but man, you are gonna watch it when you're there. I mean, the town set up huge screens in the town square. No matter where you are, you can watch it with everybody. I mean, we got that cool experience with that family in this back alley and this ice cream shop, and it was awesome with them. But no matter where you are, every night, everyone's watching it. I cannot describe the energy. Partying all night. After the game, there were concerts that happened, and shows, and fireworks, and everyone drinking and going crazy and just playing soccer in the streets. And man, it was so fun. I'm like, oh my god, Harrison, we should do this again next year. He's like, the World Cup is not every year, Morgan. I'm like, god damn it. Fine. So which is why it's even crazier that we were there. I mean, god, what luck that we were there during that time. You could never have planned that.
No, of course not.
Yeah, that's probably actually the biggest highlight of our trip, I would say. Rapid fire things. Neuschwanstein Castle. I've wanted to go there my whole entire life. I got to see the Disney castle, the amazing castle in real life.
So another highlight is we house sat everywhere, but in house sitting you get to watch all of these animals, and I think for us personally, like, we love animals. Cleo,
our cat was there, but she just ran away.
Yeah, is such a unique experience to not lose the love of a pet while traveling for so long, and I think that's something that's a huge highlight for us.
We bonded with all the pets that we took care of, and we talk about them literally every day, like all these different pets. We really loved them. If you're an animal lover, there's literally no better way to travel. All the puppies and kitties. Oh, here she is.
Come here.
This is our kitty, Cleo.
Little kidder.
We missed her so much. But those other guys filled the void a little bit.
Oh, I love you too. They had a place you could go to for free. It was like a neon sign collection garage cafe thing, and it was called Guard's Own Junkyard. I thought it was really unique, and I'm glad we went there. It made some pretty cool photos.
In London, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's in London. You probably want to know where it is.
Beaches in Croatia, enough said.
We went to a local beer festival in Germany where I had my first beer.
Going to tons of Harry Potter and Game of Thrones locations all over the world. That was a huge highlight. I'm obsessed with both of those things, and for me, that was so cool, so cool. There are so many highlights from our trip. I could seriously go on and on forever, so I'm just going to end it here. We're going on our next trip really soon, and I hope that we can kind of keep these things in mind of things that we wish we had done differently last time and apply them so they don't happen next time, and hopefully we can have even more and more highlights of our next trip. If you want to see those, please hit subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.
It's right here.
And by the way, clicking on the screen won't do it. You have to actually go below our video and hit subscribe.
Yeah. I just want to confuse you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this whole thing.
You're welcome. I don't know why you're thanking me. You gotta thank them.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
watching.
you guys.
Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
See ya.